Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Jewish Health Podcast. Again, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So if you want to see my hand gestures, if you want to see my plant, head over to YouTube. But if you just want to listen to my voice, if you are walking or you're cycling or you're just chilling, then it's up to you. So this episode, we're going to be talking about fitness tips over Passover. Now, if you're listening to this in 6 months' time from recording, well, then you got another 6 months until it's going to be useful for you. But what we're going to be doing, and if you want to get a copy, is I have created a free e-guide for you as fitness tips over Passover. There is nothing special about it. It's just some things that you should consider, some things you could do daily, and also 4 common Passover eating mistakes, which we're going to go over on this podcast. So, kind of this podcast can cover everything, but also if you want a more of a visual look, then all you need to do is send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok, but probably Instagram can be the easiest for you. The Jewish Fitness Coach, and just DM me a Passover or please may I have the e-guide, or just ask me any question and I will send it over to you. Now, if the listeners listen today and the next few days and over Passover, great. But if not, maybe these tips could be utilized in a different festival. So I'm just going to go over this guide if this lets me. So it's a bit fun because I'm going through this guide whilst doing this podcast. So it's a bit of a different type of episode today, which is quite exciting. So this guide kind of covers the basics. It goes over introduction, some tips for Seder night. It also has some fun facts as well. If you follow Seder night and Haggadah, I've not pronounced that word in a year. It has some fun facts. So it's a bit of a fun thing. But the main point about the next week is, one, Pesach is not a detox. You're not going to be, just because you're removing carbs, just because you're probably not able to have, if you have a lot of food, doesn't mean you're detoxing your body, doesn't mean that you're going to be healthy for a week, doesn't mean you're going to lose weight for the week, because all these foods have carbohydrate, all these foods have carbs in. And it's very common for people to think, oh yeah, Passover's got no carbs in, I'm going to lose weight really quickly. The truth is, if you lost weight over Passover because you missed out carbs, because naturally maybe you have bread every day, or maybe you have pasta every day, or potatoes, or depending on tradition and stuff, let's say you normally miss out a lot of carbs. In your normal routine, you're having a lot of carbs, then truthfully, you're just losing water weight. So straight afterwards, you'll put on weight. Now, the truth is, carbohydrate, Matzah has carbohydrates in, so you probably won't. But if that's the mindset, understand that actually you haven't lost weight, you just lost water weight. And as soon as if you've been in a calorie deficit, oh yeah, 100%. But if you're just missing out carbs and you, oh, I've lost weight because I missed carbs. No, I've lost weight because I've just cut out carbs. No, that's only because you lost water weight. Carbohydrates hold water weight, so you're just literally losing water. As soon as you have that matzah, as soon as you have that pasta and your potatoes again, it'll just go up. So it's probably not the healthy mindset to have. So that's important to understand that it's not a detox. And then obviously let's start from day one. So we obviously have seders, and most likely the seder itself is going to be like a Friday night dinner meal. You've also got alcohol to consider. So one thing I would suggest is ensuring that you're having enough water throughout the night, because 4 glasses of wine for a lot of people could get is I have grape juice, but that's a lot. And it's exactly the same thing as going out for a night out and you're having alcohol. The alcohol isn't going to put on weight or something, but what happens is it's the day afterwards and the 2 days afterwards where maybe you're not wanting to walk because you're hungover. I mean, I'm not saying this is just talking about really detailed into the different options, but with alcohol, with wine, make sure you have enough water so you can still go out the next day and be active and not feel like you got to sit down on the couch the whole day because you're feeling drained. So ensure you're having enough water. And also with this meal, you're going to be having more food. So make sure you got enough water. Make sure you got your vegetables in. If you're having a meal full of meat, get the meats in, get half the plate full of protein and vegetables, and just really fill up, because they're going to be the food which is high in fiber. Okay, so ensure you're doing that. So I'm not going to give you advice on as much advice because it's family traditions. We're not here to change family traditions. We are here to control how much we consume. So that's really important. And then at the end of the day, if let's say you plan to be, I'm going to be super disciplined over Seder. And let's say you did overconsume, don't feel guilty for doing that. It's really, really not a problem. If you've like been even 10%, 20%, 50% better than maybe you last year or 2 years ago, then you've already improved massively. So you even having the mindset of trying to do that is credit to yourself. So some fitness tips this week is don't skip your strength workouts. If you have workouts planned after, obviously it's bank holiday weekend, so the gyms are going to be closed depending on where you are in the world. Don't skip your strength sessions this week over Passover. Just do your workouts as normal. If it's change of plan, don't add extra workouts in, just get them done. That's going to be really important. Or strength, or just any workouts. Set your realistic goals. Let's be realistic. If you naturally do 4 workouts of the week and one's bank holiday and then later in the week you can't, why don't try and get 2? And if you get 2, be proud of that, because maybe you plan to do 0 and you got 2. So credit to you. And also prioritize your workouts. I know you're going to be with family, so ensure that you are doing them because that's really important for you. And most importantly, be active. If you're with your friends or family on the days of the first 2 days of Passover and you're with family, go for a walk, encourage people, go for a walk yourself, and just be active, play in the garden. And that's going to be the most important thing because for mentally and physically. So be active. Basically, if you haven't, or not basically, I'm going through the slides. So I'm doing a little slideshow, which is visually a bit different, but hopefully it's fine. It is fine. That's what I planned to do last week. But if you check out the previous episode, so especially listen or watch this episode and then go back to the previous episode. And that's how to decrease binge eating over Passover. I just realized I did a spelling error in the e-guide. It's called How to Decrease Bing Eating Over Passover. So that episode is basically going over 4 points, and one is remove the diets. It goes a bit deeper into it and how to do that. So make sure to listen to that. And I'm just trying to think of the 3 points, and it's just got off my head. But at the end of the day, listen to that episode. It's really, really important you do that because you can see, because a lot of people have restrictive nutritious diets, Passover is a time that people will just binge eat or over consume so much because it's not normally a part of their routine, and it's just not a healthy cycle. I talked about it in my experiences. I'm very fortunate. I've not binged eaten. I've not had any eating disorder, and I appreciate that. But from a few years ago, when I was super restrictive throughout the week, I would use Passover as a time to have so much food. I was have so much matzah and stuff. The last 2 years, when I've built a lot better, healthier relationship with food, and I've not been so restricted, I've enjoyed my food over the weeks. I felt Passover was so easy to control because I wasn't over consuming. I was having a piece of matzah and I felt fine afterwards. I didn't feel like I had to do 3 or 4 afterwards because I was satisfied, and that's a goal for a lot of people. So here are 4, and just to conclude this episode, here are 4 things, 4 huge common eating mistakes that people do over Passover. And is 1, earn their matzah. You are not a dog. You don't need to work out. So you're like, oh, I'm working out today, so I can have my matzah. If you work out, enjoy it. You don't have to, if it makes you feel good, but you're not a dog. Like I used to do it all the time and it felt good. Like it was like, oh, I'm going to actually do a workout because get endorphins in. But you're not a dog. You don't need to. You don't feel guilty. Number 2, don't feel guilty if you go over your calories over Passover. There's a time of the year where you spend it with family, with friends. There's going to be more food. There's going to be more alcohol. Hitting your calories may not be the number 1 target. If you're a professional bodybuilder and you've got a show or performance afterwards, then maybe your goals may be slightly different. I remember when I was training for the marathon a few years ago, a few days after Pesach, I was a bit different because I wasn't able to get as many carbohydrates as I would like to. 3, you don't need to make up the food you eat. You have done nothing wrong by having food which has carbohydrates in. And lastly, do not feel like if you've gone off track or if you're not able to stay consistent over this period, this week, don't feel like you just destroyed your progress. Like if you've shown to yourself that you've been consistent for a long time and you find yourself, one, you need to have breaks in your consistency. Like you should be, if you're training for like 6 to 12 weeks and you're being consistent, you need a break so you can improve your performance. So this could be a good break for you whilst you're training. But if you feel like you've gone off track and you feel like you haven't been as consistent in the past, don't worry about it. It's not going to destroy your progress. Just get back on track. And finally, the truth is there's nothing special you need to do over Passover. If you check out my last Instagram posts, I review diets of what I see on the internet, and they're saying, do this, do that, do this, try this, drink this. And I'm thinking, those things aren't going to be the reason why you stay slim, because that's what I see, or lose weight. Like, you should be ensuring like the healthiest relationship with food, healthy relationship with yourself are the basics. And these are the basics. I mean, these are the basics. I had a point in my head, but I'll go for the basics first because I was on a roll. 1, be active every day. Walk every single day. Like the most important thing. 2, have your vegetables. You are an adult. Have your vegetables. When you have the salt water, get an extra piece of lettuce, and let's have a virtual toast. So have an extra piece of lettuce on me. Ensure every single day you're drinking enough water and you're sleeping enough if you can sleep enough. If you don't have young children, ensure you're in sleep. And when you can, try and get your protein. Now, those points, they're going to keep you on track. They're not going to say, they're not going to make you lose weight, but this week isn't time for you to think, oh, I've got to lose weight this week, because there's so many other factors. Like you've got a few months afterwards, obviously, on festivals, and you've had a few months previously where there hasn't been that many distractions. But if you can focus on protein, being active, more vegetables, water, sleep, you're going to feel so much better about yourself, despite what the scales say afterwards. Because then afterwards, after this holiday, you're going to be right on track. You're going to be ready to go. If your goal is weight loss, for example. And I see blogs on the internet with only have one piece of matzah a day, or have squeezed lemon water, or intermediate fast. And they may work. There may be strategies that work for some people, but what they working? Like, are they? If you intermediate fast, you may be so hungry at the day and you overconsume at dinner. Or if you have, they frustrate me because those things aren't solely going to help you. Like you're forgetting the basics. Like if you don't work out, or if you're not active and you don't drink enough water and you don't have vegetables and you don't have your protein, but squeezing a lemon in water, or your bit of water, is going to be the answer, then that's just not going to work, is it? Of course, if you're consistent, then maybe it'll make a slight difference. But if you're able to stay consistent with it, fine. But the consistency you should be focusing on are the things I mentioned before. And if you focus on them, it's going to help you stay consistent. It's not going to help you achieve your goals, what's X, Y, and Z. But if you're wanting to build a better relationship with food, if you're wanting to build a better relationship with yourself, those are the things you must do because they're going to help you, and the most important things. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a lovely Passover. Enjoy being with friends. Enjoy your wine. Enjoy your matzah. If you are having matzah, let me know what your toppings are. So, and also, if you need this guide and you want this guide, which I think is going to be super helpful for you, just send me a message on Instagram, the Nutrition Coach, with the term Passover or matzah, or well, can I have the free guide, please? And I'll send you the link to it. Anyway, have a lovely day, and I look forward for you. Oh, and before you go, you've got another episode to watch. So click on the next episode, and we'll see you soon.